You found the magic lamp. You rub the lamp and a genie appears to grant you one wish. What would your wish be? If you're going to ask the genie to make you rich, then you do not need to go through the trouble of finding a genie. A copy of the book The Richest Man in Babylon will get you to your destination and, more importantly, maintain your wealth. The Richest Man in Babylon by George Samuel Clason. This book has the most basic principles that will help you become rich. Here are 3 big ideas that will help you improve your financial situation immediately. Number 1. Pay yourself first. A part of what you earn is yours to keep. Paying yourself first doesn't mean that you need to buy yourself a new pair of shoes because you worked really hard at work. That would be to pay the merchant first. Clason mentioned that the rule is to set aside 10% of your income to save and pretend you never made that 10%. You will magically learn how to live on the 90%. If you make $90, you will learn how to live on the $90. This is the same as if you make $100 but put away $10. Always pay yourself first. The more you pay yourself, the better off you'll become. When I first started building my wealth seriously, I managed to pay myself 70% of my income first and then live on 30% of my income. At first I felt it was impossible, but I found out very soon that when there is a will, there is a way. Everything started to come together as I was able to find a solution to save money from all ends. I would eat out less and more at home. I didn't spend any more on clothes since I could fit a lot of my old clothes. I lived with my parents to save money on rent and utilities. I used my old BlackBerry until it gave in. I was more conscious on what my tax liability was. I learned everything I could on how to get taxed less. The less I get taxed, the more I can save. Part of the money I pay myself went into tax shelters like a 401k. Following an IRA once the 401k is maxed out. I leased a basic car for work instead of buying a new car. Since I was self-employed and didn't have to spend much personally, I was able to deduct majority of my spending. I invested any additional money afterwards into a brokerage account and part into a saving account for a down payment. Within 2 years, I was able to save enough to buy my first house. 2. Ensure a future income. We cannot afford to be without adequate protection. One of the most important reasons to save and invest is to ensure that you will have enough money when you aren't able to work anymore. Saving for retirement is great, but it will take time. What happens if your house burned down by accident? How can you afford to rebuild the house right away? This is when insurance comes into play. Always have proper protection. You should have insurance to protect your health, your assets, and your family. When I was younger, I thought insurance was an unnecessary scam. I realized later when I lost my health insurance on how expensive a doctor visit is. I also learned the importance of insurance from a car accident. I realized that although I have money saved up to take care of my health, what happens if my house burned down? How will I pay it? I decided to buy proper insurance immediately. I purchased health insurance, extra car insurance coverage, proper housing insurance, and then an umbrella policy to further protect my assets. My mentor Peter taught me that wealthy people has multiple lines of protection on their wealth. They have diversified accounts, separate corporations and LLC, multiple layers of insurance, and lawyers to protect their wealth. Peter told me that we live in America where those who doesn't have much are taught to sue and take from those who have. Always have protection. The more you have, the more protection you'll need. 3. Work and buy your freedom. In the chapter of the book The Luckiest Man in Babylon, Clason writes about a merchant prince who was once a slave. When the merchant prince was a slave, he would follow his slave master to learn everything he can on how to do good farm work. After working diligently, he was able to develop skills for good work. He would work hard to make the master money. After the prince merchant gathered a customer following, the master made him partner for his good work. The prince merchant was able to gain his freedom when the master gambled him away to another merchant who bought his freedom to make him a partner. We are lucky to have slavery abolished today, but we do not completely have our freedom as we still are a slave to money. In order to buy our freedom like the Prince Merchant, we must constantly learn to improve a skill. You can do this like the Prince Merchant by working at a company as an employee and learn from the employer. One day when your skills are good enough, you may be able to attract a partner to work with you. Similar to the story, I started working under a brokerage under the tutelage of an experienced broker. After 7 years of honing my skills and building a customer following, I've attracted other brokers from larger firms who would like to work with me. I was approached several times to start a firm with other brokers. Continue learning and honing your skills. Follow these principles and have the end goal in mind. One day you may be able to buy your freedom just like the luckiest man in Babylon did. Here's the final takeaway. I followed the principles in this book and was able to buy my freedom. Follow these principles and you can do the same too. Thank you for watching this video. Please share and subscribe for more videos.